Let's be honest for a moment. What if the most effective tool in my arsenal as an oncologist, the one thing I recommend to my own family to prevent cancer after the age of 65, has absolutely nothing to do with a prescription pad, a hospital stay, or a grueling medical procedure? What if this secret was actually a biological switch already built into your DNA, just waiting for the right signal to be flipped? Most people over 60 are looking in the wrong places. They are looking at supplements, expensive screenings, and the latest health fads. But while they are looking outward, they are missing a fundamental truth about how the human body actually repairs itself. Stay with me because over the next 20 minutes, I am going to show you a simple daily habit that has redefined how I treat my patients. My name is Dr. Kendra Harris. I've spent the better part of my life in the world of oncology, standing on the front lines of the battle against cancer. I have seen the fear in a patient's eyes when a diagnosis is delivered, and I've spent countless hours wondering, what if we could have stopped this before it even started? After decades of research, I can tell you that while cancer is incredibly complex, our defense against it doesn't have to be. There is one specific daily behavior that is so grounded in peer-reviewed science, yet so rarely discussed in the average doctor's office, that I feel it is my duty to bring it to you today. Now, I need you to make me a promise. When I finally reveal this habit, do not turn away. Your brain will want to tell you, I've heard this before. I am telling you right now, you haven't heard it explained like this. You haven't seen the data that shows how this habit literally cleanses your cells of the garbage that eventually turns into tumors. Before we name it, we have to look at the hidden war happening inside you right now. Inside a body over 65, the environment is changing. At 30, your body was a master at cellular housekeeping. When a cell became damaged or a piece of DNA was copied incorrectly, your system caught it and recycled it. But as we cross that 60-year mark, that housekeeping slows down. We call this cellular senescence. Damaged cells, instead of being cleared out, start to linger. They become zombie cells floating in your system, creating inflammation and providing the perfect soil for cancer to grow. This isn't a disease, it's a natural decline. But it means that the safety margin you had in your youth is gone. You can no longer afford to have a sluggish internal cleaning system. This is where our habit comes in. It is the only natural way to force your body back into that youthful state of deep cellular repair. Now that you understand the zombie cells lingering in your body after 65, we have to look at the solution. The habit I am talking about, the one that acts as a master key for your body's internal defense, is circadian-based, time-restricted eating. Now, before you think, oh, this is just another diet trend, stop. I am not talking about weight loss. I am not talking about keto or counting calories. I am talking about oncological timing. It is the practice of giving your body a consistent 14 to 16-hour window of physiological rest every single day. Why is this the number one habit for an oncologist? Because of a biological process called autophagy. The word literally translates to self-eating. It sounds aggressive, but it is actually the most beautiful mechanism in human biology. During periods of fasting, specifically after the 12-hour mark, your body realizes that no new fuel is coming in. Instead of panicking, it turns inward and looks for junk to burn for energy. It starts with those damaged proteins and the zombie cells we discussed earlier. It breaks down the malformed components that could eventually lead to a cancer diagnosis and recycles them into clean energy. When you are constantly eating, from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, you never, ever allow your body to enter this cleanup mode. You are essentially keeping the lights on in the factory 24/7, and the trash is piling up on the floor. After 65, your body can no longer handle that mess. Let me introduce you to a patient of mine, a woman I'll call Martha. Martha was 68, a retired school teacher, and incredibly health conscious. She ate organic, she did yoga, yet she felt chronically fatigued, and her blood work showed rising levels of systemic inflammation. She was terrified of cancer because it had taken her mother at a similar age. When Martha came to me, I didn't give her a new supplement. I gave her a clock. I told her, Martha, I want you to stop eating at 6 p.m. and I don't want you to have breakfast until 8 or 10 a.m. the next morning. She was skeptical. She thought she needed fuel to keep her energy up. But within 3 months, something remarkable happened. Her markers for oxidative stress, the very things that damage your DNA and lead to cancer, began to plummet. By simply shifting when she ate, she triggered a cellular deep clean that no green juice or antioxidant pill could ever replicate. The science here is undeniable. A major study published in the journal Cell Metabolism found that time-restricted eating not only reduced the risk of metabolic disease, but directly suppressed the signaling pathways that tumors use to grow. When you fast, according to your circadian rhythm, you lower your insulin-like growth factor, IGF-1. In the world of oncology, IGF-1 is like Miracle-Gro for cancer cells. By lowering it naturally through timing, you are essentially starving potential cancer cells before they ever get the chance to form a colony. This isn't just about avoiding a late-night snack. It's about signaling to your DNA that it is time to repair, not just grow. Growth is for children, repair is for seniors. And after 65, repair is your most important job. To truly understand why this habit is a non-negotiable for anyone over 65, we have to look deeper than just cleaning up cells. We have to look at the 3 biological pillars that this habit fortifies. If you ignore these, you are essentially leaving your body's front door unlocked in a dangerous neighborhood. Pillar number 1, mitochondrial integrity. Your mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. As we age, these power plants start to leak reactive oxygen species, essentially toxic exhaust. This exhaust is a primary driver of the DNA mutations that lead to cancer. Research has shown that when you implement a 14 to 16-hour fasting window, your body triggers autophagy. This is the specific destruction of old, leaking mitochondria and the birth of new, efficient ones. You are essentially replacing an old smoking engine with a brand new electric motor. Newer mitochondria mean less DNA damage. Pillar number 2, the insulin-cancer connection. This is the one most people overlook. Every time you eat, your insulin levels spike. Insulin is an anabolic hormone. It tells things to grow. While that's great when you're building muscle at 20, it's a massive risk at 70. Cancer cells are often covered in insulin receptors. They are insulin hungry. By keeping your eating window narrow, you keep your baseline insulin levels low for the majority of the day. You are taking away the fuel that small, undetectable clusters of abnormal cells need to expand. You are keeping the growth signal turned off so the repair signal can stay on. Pillar number 3, metabolic flexibility. Most people over 65 are sugar burners. Their bodies have forgotten how to burn fat for fuel because they eat so frequently. But here is the oncological secret. Cancer cells are notoriously metabolically rigid. They almost exclusively thrive on glucose. By training your body to go 14 or 16 hours without food, you force your healthy cells to become metabolically flexible, switching from burning sugar to burning ketones. Healthy cells can survive on ketones. Most cancer cells cannot. You are effectively creating an internal environment that is metabolically hostile to cancer while making your healthy cells more resilient. Think back to Martha. When we looked at her blood work after she started this habit, we didn't just see lower inflammation. We saw a shift in her metabolic markers that looked like a woman 20 years younger. Her body had remembered how to use its own stored energy. But I have to warn you, there is a massive trap here. Many people here don't eat for 16 hours, and they make a mistake that actually increases their stress hormones and can suppress their immune system. I see this happen all the time with seniors who try to follow internet influencers instead of medical science. If you do this habit at the wrong time of day, you might be doing more harm than good. Because your body isn't just a machine, it's a clock. And if you fight your internal clock, your natural killer cells, those frontline soldiers I mentioned earlier, won't show up for work. I mentioned a trap earlier, and this is where most people fail. They think the 16-hour window can happen at any time. They skip breakfast, drink coffee all day, and then eat a massive heavy meal at 9 p.m. From an oncological perspective, this is a disaster. Why? Because your immune system follows a strict circadian rhythm. Your natural killer, NK cells, the elite soldiers that patrol your body looking for mutated cells, are not active 24 hours a day. They have a shift schedule. Research in chronobiology shows that NK cell activity peaks in the morning and early afternoon. This is when your body is most immunocompetent. If you eat a large meal late at night, you force your body to divert blood flow and energy away from surveillance and repair and toward digestion and storage. You are essentially calling your security guards off the perimeter to help clean the kitchen. When you do this after 65, you create a window of vulnerability every single night. The goal isn't just to fast, it's to align your fast with the sun. This is called early time restricted feeding. The number one oncologist habit is stopping your food intake by 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. at the latest. By doing this, you allow your insulin levels to drop to their baseline before you go to sleep. When you sleep with low insulin and low blood sugar, your body produces a surge of growth hormone and melatonin. Most people think of melatonin as a sleep hormone, but in the world of cancer research, melatonin is one of the most potent, naturally occurring anti-cancer molecules in the human body. It's an antioxidant that can actually enter the nucleus of your cells to protect your DNA from damage. But here is the catch: insulin inhibits melatonin. If you eat late, you spike your insulin and you rob yourself of that nightly DNA repair treatment. Think of it this way: every night you stop eating early, you are giving your body a molecular tune-up. You are allowing your NK cells to do their job without distraction. I want to pause here because if you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about your longevity. Most people will have clicked away by now, looking for a magic pill. But you're still here, which means you understand that true health is built through daily discipline. If this high-level science is making sense to you, hit that subscribe button right now. I've dedicated this channel to bringing you the why behind the what, because when you understand the biology, the habit becomes easy to keep. Now, before we move to the specific protocol and the one mistake that ruins everything, I have a question for you. What time did you have your last bite of food last night? Be honest. Type it in the comments. I read those comments to understand the habits of this community, and seeing your answer might be the wake-up call you, or someone else, needs. I promise to give you the exact protocol I use with my patients, a roadmap that takes the guesswork out of this cellular deep clean. Because after 65, consistency isn't just a virtue, it is a biological requirement. Your body no longer has the elasticity to recover from cheat days the way it did at 30. Here is the Dr. Kendra Harris 15-9 framework. It is specifically designed for the senior metabolism. We aren't aiming for the extreme 20-hour fasts you see on fitness blogs. Those can spike cortisol and actually weaken a senior's immune response. We want the sweet spot. Step 1, the 7 p.m. hard stop. Your last calorie of the day, whether it's a full meal or a small grape, must be consumed by 7 p.m. This ensures that by the time your head hits the pillow at 10 or 11 p.m., your blood sugar has stabilized and your body can transition from digestion mode into DNA repair mode. Step 2, the hydration bridge. When you wake up, your body is in peak autophagy. Do not interrupt it with cream, sugar, or a heavy breakfast. For the first 3 hours of your day, stick to water, black coffee, or plain green tea. Green tea, specifically, contains EGCG, a polyphenol that research suggests works synergistically with fasting to enhance the suicide signal in precancerous cells. Step 3, the 10 a.m. break. This gives you a 15-hour window. This is long enough to trigger the recycling of those zombie cells we discussed, but short enough that it doesn't cause muscle wasting, a major concern as we age. Let's go back to Victor, the man I mentioned earlier who was struggling with his health markers. While Victor's story was about movement, Martha's story was about this very timing. When Martha combined the 15-hour window with a high-protein breakfast at 10 a.m., her energy didn't just return, it surged. Why? Because her mitochondria were finally being repaired every night. She told me, "Doctor, I feel like the fog has lifted from my body." That fog was actually the accumulation of cellular waste that she had been carrying for years. But there is one specific mistake that can undo every single bit of this progress. I see it in nearly 50% of people who try this. They think they are doing it right, but they are accidentally sending a growth signal to potential cancer cells right in the middle of their fasting window. The mistake is hidden insulin triggers. Many people use sugar-free sweeteners, diet sodas, or keto-friendly creamers during their fasting hours. Here is what the science tells us. Even if a substance has 0 calories, the sweet taste on the tongue can trigger what we call the cephalic phase insulin response. Your brain expects sugar, so it signals the pancreas to release a small amount of insulin. Remember what I said earlier, insulin is miracle grow for cancer. Even a small blip of insulin in the middle of the night or early morning can shut down the autophagy process instantly. You are essentially flipping the repair switch back to off before the job is finished. If you are going to commit to this habit, you must commit to a clean fast. Water, black coffee, plain tea, nothing else. We have covered the biology, the zombie cells, and the exact protocol to flip your body's internal repair switch. But there is one final piece of the puzzle I need you to understand. This habit is not a quick fix. Cancer doesn't develop overnight. It is the result of years, sometimes decades, of accumulated cellular errors. When you start the 15-9 protocol, you aren't just changing what you eat, you are changing your destiny. You are choosing to provide your body with the environment it needs to do the job it was designed to do. I often tell my patients that as an oncologist, I can provide the treatment, but only you can provide the terrain. By keeping your terrain clean through time-restricted eating, you are making it incredibly difficult for a rogue cell to ever take root. I want you to think about what health looks like to you 5 or 10 years from now. Do you want to be someone who is constantly reacting to new diagnoses? Or do you want to be the person whose doctor looks at their blood work and says, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it"? If you found value in this deep dive today, there is one thing I ask of you. Share this video. There is a friend, a neighbor, or a sibling who is over 65 and feels like their health is slipping out of their control. They are overwhelmed by conflicting advice. Sending them this video isn't just sharing a link. It's giving them a tool that costs nothing but can change everything. And if you haven't yet, join our community by subscribing. In my next video, I am going to reveal the 5 health foods that are actually driving cancer growth in seniors. You might be eating 2 of them for breakfast right now, thinking you're being healthy, while they are actually feeding the very pathways we just talked about closing. You won't want to miss that. Here is your challenge for today. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait for a better time. Start tonight. Set an alarm for 7 p.m. When that alarm goes off, your kitchen is closed. That is the first step toward a cleaner, more resilient version of yourself. As always, remember, the most sophisticated laboratory in the world isn't at a university or a pharmaceutical company. It is right inside your own body. You just have to give it the right instructions. I'm Dr. Kendra Harris. Move with purpose, eat with timing, and I will see you in the next video.